This goes beyond tragic. This goes beyond sad. Y'all know how it is when it comes to children. Anytime children are involved in these videos and how it gets to me. You have this illegal alien, Mohammed Sise, accused of inappropriately having relations with an 11-year-old girl 15 times. An 11-year-old child. And the only reason he's still here is because Democrats made ICE the villain. They say deportation is cruel. No, what that girl lived through, that's cruelty. But before we get into this, I just want to say while ICE is protecting the streets, Aura is protecting my identity.
Hold up. If you getting spam calls and random weird text messages out of nowhere, it's probably not random. And it used to happen to me all the time. And look, I run the whole YouTube channel. What I didn't know is my information was already out there. These data broker sites literally had my full name, old passwords, addresses, and even stuff linked to my business accounts. Big tech, they don't protect you. And I had to learn the hard way. And that's why I started using Aura.com, the sponsor of today's video. Aura finds where your personal info is exposed, scrubs it from data broker sites, monitor your identity 24/7, and alerts you fast when something shady is happening. It even has a built-in VPN, antivirus, and financial fraud alerts, all in one app. For real, Kingdom Reacts was at risk. This ain't just a sponsor plug. This is real. They help me lock everything down. Go to aura.com/kingdomreacts right now to get you a 2-week free trial. And that link helps the channel too. It's free to try, but the peace of mind, it's honestly priceless. And that's why I can no longer allow you or your family to go unprotected. Definitely click that link in the description. Now, in case that shook you, I want you to watch what happens when ICE uncovers an entire ring targeting kids.
A UCF student on a visa and men from countries like Mexico, Jamaica, India, and El Salvador. Investigators say these men allegedly showed up with illegal drugs, guns, and contraceptives, thinking they were meeting kids as young as 13, but instead they were met with undercover officers. Now, as mentioned, Sheriff Woods didn't hold back and is vowing to hunt down anyone who targets a child.
Amen.
Marion County and the 5th Judicial Circuit, and truthfully, in the entire state of Florida, as I'm pretty sure, as the general is going to make abundantly clear, we do not tolerate this crime.
A UCF student on a visa and men from...
Makes absolutely no sense. You can't call this immigration anymore. This was an ambush on innocence. They traveled to meet children, and ICE was the only line of defense. How many more of these sting ops are we going to need before the left admits their policies were putting all of these kids at risk? And if you think it's just violent criminals, watch what happens when someone just spit on an ICE agent.
Right now we're 3 minutes out from the tattoo parlor.
They went in to serve the warrant on a suspect that spit on one of our agents.
So this is pretty intense. You guys go in quick.
We are trying to get in there very quick.
18 USC 111.
What you just witnessed there was a very efficient warrant service. We were in and out of there. Nobody got hurt. There's a lot of people here in the so-called sanctuary of California that maybe are used to softer on crime policies. When you see us out there, you're not going to be dealing with a soft on crime approach. You're going to be dealing with the full consequences of your actions.
Border Patrol agents are out here working hard. They're arresting criminals, some really bad criminals, and the last thing we need are other people to come in and assault those officers while they're conducting a lawful mission.
So he was previously arrested 12 times, wore an anti-ICE shirt, spit in a federal ICE agent's face, and thought he could walk away. Nope. ICE pulled up tactical. 90 seconds, game over. That's law enforcement, not fascism. Now, here's where it gets disgusting. California didn't just ignore ICE. They literally blocked them.
2 weeks ago, Guillermo Reyes was at a rally outside federal immigration court in San Francisco, where his attorneys argued the tattoo artist should remain out of ICE custody because he's lived in the U.S. since he was 6 years old. They contend Reyes is being unfairly targeted for deportation because of his activism. But he also has a criminal history, including a conviction for stabbing a rival gang member in 2013.
To be honest, according to the conversations that I've had with immigration officers, we're all criminals to them just because we weren't born here.
But you do have a record.
Yeah, but just like I do have a record as a juvenile.
The judge granted Reyes a temporary reprieve, but this past Sunday, he was back in custody, accused of several new crimes. Berkeley police say the bizarre string of incidents started here, when Guillermo Reyes called 911 to report a possible break-in. Officers arrived to find a broken window and found Reyes with a bloody hand. They took some information and left. 4 hours later, someone at this cafe called 911 for medical help.
Initially, I called in as a medical for a male breathing heavily, but now possibly a fentanyl overdose. Braids, no shirt, tattooed.
Police soon learned about a string of carjacking incidents. One happened here at this bakery, where the 3-year-old was in the backseat of a car, but Reyes was unable to get away because he didn't have the keys. And here at this gas station, where the 70-year-old victim was able to douse Reyes with gasoline before she was knocked down. And then down the block, where a big rig Reyes was driving stalled before he could get away.
Well, we got one detained here, and Narcan was deployed.
In the end, Reyes was taken into custody.
Let me get this straight. ICE wanted him. California said no. Then 2 weeks later, he steals a car with a baby inside. Now, this is what happens when courts move more woke than wise. This right here. They didn't stop ICE. They stopped justice. And just when you think it couldn't go deeper, ICE uncovered an organized ring dismantling America's economy.
Surveillance video shows thieves taking any means necessary to get under the hood of semi-trucks parked across Central Florida.
They could go under, over, break something, and they would do whatever it takes.
Sheriff Chronister says these 4 men, all Cuban nationals, stole 93 of these, the awkwardly named but super important engine control modules.
When the computer, that brain, has been removed, that tractor is inoperable.
They preyed on trucks that were left in short-term lots in Hillsborough, Polk, Lee, and Duval counties, while owners took downtime. When the truckers got back, they'd find there was no way to move their truck. Thus, their income went out the window.
I shudder to think about the value of the money that they've lost, that their families suffered that income.
The sheriff says the 4 thieves would sell them for between $3,000 and $10,000 to a fence in Texas, who would wipe them clean and flip them to another trucker whose own control board burned out.
I'm sure it won't be too long before you guys see or learn that there are additional individuals that are going to be charged.
The sheriff says none of the 4 thieves have legal status and that 3 of the 4 already have immigration holds. They're going to face 139 charges in total, with some falling under organized crime statutes. Each faces the rest of their life in prison and deportation.
They weren't just stealing parts. They were disabling entire freight systems. Truckers lost weeks of income. Some couldn't even move their rigs. That wasn't survival. It was sabotage. And the left wants you to believe these guys were just looking for work. All of this wasn't enough. If all of this wasn't enough to expose the lies, rather, ICE Houston just dropped the mic. Actually, I made a mistake.
President Trump's immigration crackdown continues, with ICE agents in Houston, Texas, reporting more than 200 migrants apprehended by this field office alone are child sex offenders. 214 people detained by ICE in Houston over the last 6 months have either been charged with or convicted of child sex crimes. The press release from ICE says the arrest number over the past 6 months surpassed the amount of child sex offenders nabbed by the office in all of 2024. The office crediting the federal government's increase of resources. The acting field office director says while we still have a long way to go to truly get this crisis under control, the strides we have made in just 6 months to make our local communities safer are substantial, and our officers continue to work tirelessly every day to get the worst of the worst criminal aliens out of Southeast Texas. President Trump's immigration crackdown continues with
214. Let that number sit with you for a second. That's not from a border state operation. That's from one field office in half a year. You know what that means? The floodgates didn't just open, they drowned justice. And ICE is the only thing keeping us from being overrun. Now, after all of that, we're going to go back to my mistake clip just a second ago. You'd think the media would say thank you to ICE. Instead, they give you
Deportees are trying to start a new life in Tijuana. We met Juan Carlos, who stopped at an LA area Home Depot on his way to his construction job.
En cuanto yo lo miré, yo intenté correr. Yo corrí.
Cell phone video captured his arrest by ICE.
This is me. This is federal, the ICE. Wow. Los Ángeles me dio muchas cosas. Me dio oportunidades. Me dio otra clase de vida.
Juan Carlos lived in the U.S. for 19 years.
Sentí que era mi casa, pero las cosas pasan cuando tienen que pasar. Aquí tengo un video de un primo que lo miró en Instagram. Ahí donde me tuvieron está una tienda de Starbucks. Entonces estaba la fila y una persona, yo pienso que me miró y estuvo grabando y lo subió a Instagram.
CBS News found the woman who recorded the apprehension. And in the video, you can hear somebody crying.
That was me crying. I just froze. So with such intense emotion, I couldn't believe my eyes. I just felt for them. I felt for their families. That was the first thing I thought of, is that they're not going to go home to their family at the end of the night. Finding out today that his cousin saw my video and was able to know where his cousin was, that really made me happy, because that was my number one concern, is what is his family thinking? Is his family worried about him? And, you know, I got a lot of backlash online for not going up to him and asking his information, his family's information. So for them to see that video, you know, it really shows the power of the internet and the social media, that they were able to figure out where he was.
He was here illegally for 19 years. ICE finally caught him. And CBS made it sound like a death sentence. What was this energy for the victims in the other clips? The media doesn't tell you the truth. They protect their narrative. And that narrative is costing lives. ICE didn't raid the wrong neighborhood. They raided the law. And behind it, child predators, criminal hackers, you got gang members, drug traffickers, media darlings, all protected by Democrat policies. And if you want the truth, you're in the right place. That's why we built Team Think. Y'all be safe. Do me a favor. Oh, before I do that, if you're a part of the 4X Club, drop your name below. This concept came from Doug and Excel. 4 videos, 4 comments, 4 times the impact. But again, be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.